Alright guys, welcome to another Cast Games podcast. Me today with Jordan. We're talking about qualifiers. Alright, so if you're maybe new into the competition scene, it's just how to approach it. Maybe it's the mindset going into a qualifier, and just maybe it's whether or not you're ready to do qualifiers. So Jordan, first thing, qualifiers. How do you approach them?
I think it's important with qualifiers, whether it be an open workout, Cast Games workout, to remember that it is a competition. So there's always this thing about redo or do not redo. It just depends what you want, right? I always tend to redo open workouts because on the Friday it's more of a test run and
see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. And you always hear people that say, "Oh well, if I'd redone, I would have got this." Well, then why didn't you redo? Do you know what I mean? If you can do it, do it. If you can't, then don't say that you could. So my biggest thing is give yourself the best chance of qualifying. The best chance.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that goes both ways. If you do it and you get a half decent score and it's going to be good enough for qualifying, then it's a discussion with you and your coach or you and your training partners to be like, do I need to redo this to qualify, or am I just doing it for my ego? There's two separate issues there. But in terms of qualifiers, always look at what movements are going to be in them. Most competitions will release before, if you're going to be doing scale, these are the movements that you need to be able to do. RX, these are the movements that you need to be able to do. And make sure that you choose the right category. Because if you can't do a pull-up, you probably shouldn't be doing an RX comp. Yeah. If you can't do muscle-ups, you shouldn't be doing an RX comp. So it's selecting the category that fits you the best. So with the open, like I say, Castle Games could be whatever. Pick the right category, because then you don't end up being demoralised by the qualifier.
You want to be competitive in your category. In your category, yeah. So just in terms of the qualifiers though, so qualifiers just come out on the Friday, you've seen it. Do you sometimes go in with the mindset of, oh well, I'm going to do it again on Monday, so I'm just going to give it a go on the Friday? So you mentioned just before that.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to cut you off. I think go on.
So just for me doing that, am I going to go all out on the Friday though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it just depends. So I never go half effort. Always give it 100%. But on the Monday, the approach just might change. So for example, we were talking about the 20.5 before, earlier on, and we were saying that I tried it on Friday and the approach that I had just didn't work. So I still hit it with 100% intensity. Yeah. It just wasn't the right kind of format for me to do the best in the workout. So we went back on Monday, we did it again, different format, same intensity, got a better score. So I don't think that you should be hitting them, half effort or with a lower intensity. You should still be hitting them hard, but it's knowing what you want to get out of that workout. Yeah. So what I always like to do is I'll have the workout in front of us, or I'll have it on my phone, and I'll work out, right, if it's a 15-minute AMRAP, so you've got 15 minutes, how long should a round take me? So let's say it's 10 power cleans. Let's just make it dead easy. It's 10 power cleans, 20 wall balls, 30 burpees, for example. Okay. So I'm looking at them saying, right, 10 power cleans, 30 seconds. Yeah. What did I say? 20 wall balls.
20 wall balls.
20 wall balls.
35, 40 seconds.
40 seconds. Let's say 45, let's be generous. So I'm at a minute 15. Yeah. 30 burpees, let's say a minute and a half. Yeah. So I'm at 2:45. Yeah. Bit of transition, let's call it 3 minutes. Right. So it's 15 minutes, so you're looking for 5 rounds. 5 rounds and over. That's what you'd be looking at. So I would go on the Friday and I'd try and get 5 rounds or over. And if I feel like I've got more, I would go back and I'd do it on the Monday. But if I'm constantly moving in that 15 minutes, and I'm not taking my time, I'm not getting drinks of water, I'm not choking my hands too much, then I've probably given it all I could. Yeah. So I might not go again. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I see what you mean. But it's having an expectation and a kind of a goal with the workout before you start, so you know what you're trying to achieve. Because otherwise, if you're just going into it blindly, you don't know. Yeah. You don't know whether you're on pace, you're off pace. You just don't know.
That's good advice. That is just to have them them small little kind of the little transitions. So maybe you got maybe a 10, 15 second transition, and maybe just even if you just take 5 seconds off them transitions, each of them rounds, that's going to mount up for what?
Well, I mean, I think that's a mistake that people make anyway in competition workouts and qualifiers. They think that they have to be moving the entire time. But I always say, what's better to do? Is it better to take a 10-second rest and then do your cleans unbroken? Yeah. For example, or is it better to take a 5-second rest, pick the bar up, do 3 reps, and then hit that red line heart rate and have to drop the bar and have a 25, 30 second
go
rest.
Singles all the way in.
Yeah, the key is to stay just below that threshold. Have the rest when you need it, but then don't have the rest when you don't need it.
Yes.
If you don't need to rest, keep moving. If you need to rest, have a rest, but don't take 30 seconds, take 10 seconds.
I guess it's all just comes with like the experience of just training though. So, you know,
Yeah.
for me, you need to be in a box, you need to be maybe trained for a good, let's say 6 months to a year. You've got to be able to know your body, you've got to be able to know what demands you can place on your body and how far you can really realistically push it in a workout. Because if you've got a 20-minute AMRAP and you're looking to really get the intensity up at the 4 minutes, well, you're going to be done after 8, aren't you?
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, I think you touched on a good point there about people not rushing into it too early. Like, there's a lot of people who will be doing CrossFit for like 2-3 months and be like, right, I'm ready to compete. It's like, you're really not.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't had the exposure that you need. If you look at like a cycle of programming, so an 8-week or a 12-week block, that might be specific for one thing. You might be trying to get stronger. You might not really be focusing on many gymnastics movements or whatever it may be. So you might have only had like a really small snapshot of like the whole fitness package, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So unless you've done 12 months or 6 months of training, you might not necessarily have been exposed to all the skills and drills that you're going to need. You might not have learned everything. You might not know what certain movements are. You might not know what intensity you can hit certain movements at.
Injury as well.
It's that big kind of thing around CrossFit, isn't it, about people getting injured? But actually, in reality, you'll know from owning an affiliate, the majority of people that get injured who come and train at your gym don't get injured in the gym. Get injured outside the gym doing things that adults shouldn't be doing. Like. You're 40. Stop playing football.
Well, that's the thing. It's sports, so it's football, it's cricket, it's rugby. We've got a couple of cricketers who the box there. I've never known cricketers get injured so much as them too. It's unbelievable how much they're injured. Lower back.
Hit with the balls or something.
Oh no, just like bowling and that. Like just knack the back all the time. Footballers, ankles, rugby
knees,
players,
backs.
shoulders all the time. Knock it on the head, mate.
Yeah.
Knock it on the head altogether. Full-time CrossFitter. So in terms of just going forward, like with qualifiers, let's just say you've qualified, so you're now going to your finals. You've maybe got like let's say a 2-month lead up to the finals.
Yeah.
What's your approach then for them 2 months in terms of your training volume, your nutrition?
Yeah, I think people tend to like go mad with the volume, but actually in reality, if you think about what you're trying to do, you're trying to get prepared for like a 1 or 2 day competition.
Yeah.
So the way that we tend to, obviously we have a programming company, Warrior Programming as well, the way that we tend to build people up for those events is that we'll train them as if they're going to be doing like a competitive weekend. So how would the week actually look? So like maybe it's one week out of every month. So if I've got 2 months, I might do it once, maybe it's twice before. But we'll have like a sort of pre-comp scenario.
Like a simulation type
yeah,
thing.
like a simulation. So, you know, work it out where on the Saturday you might do 3 or 4 events and have a 2 or 3 hour rest in between.
Right.
Kind of ties in with like the nutrition stuff that Tim does as well. So learning what works for you and what doesn't with your nutrition. Like, can I eat this on competition day? Can I eat this? Can I not eat this? Does this keep me fueled? Does it keep me hydrated? All that stuff. Like, if you don't do it, then you don't know. So I think the most important thing is to have those simulation days and actually figure out what works for you and what doesn't. Like, for example, I know now, like on competition days, I can't eat meals. It just makes me feel sick. So I don't bother. I just have flat Coke and sports mixture. That's all I need. If I have those, I'm good to go. You know, don't tell Tim, but that's what I do. So that works for me. If I try and eat chicken and broccoli and stuff, I just feel rotten. So I just don't. But I know that through trial and error. And that won't work for everybody. That probably won't work for 99% of people. But it works for me. You know what I mean?
I think that's the main thing that we've got from that. So last week when we did the podcast with Tim from We Dominate Nutrition, a big thing that he was mentioning was that your comp day, it should be no different to maybe how you would be in the box. So like, a simulation day. So do exactly what you would do. He says that a lot of people when the tournament comes, they have like a bag full of carbs. Like all these sort of carbs, all these like these simple and complex carbs of what they would never know ordinarily.
Never have it.
Ever. And all of a sudden they're smashing up the sorry and they're smashing in every type of like sugar you can imagine, and then just feeling ill for half the day.
They just crash. Well, I mean, I think that's massively important. Like knowing what your nutrition looks like, and then also like knowing what simple things like what your warm up looks like. Like you always see people at competitions. Let's say it's bar muscle ups in the workout. And they're knocking out like 50 bar muscle ups in the warm-up area, and you're like, what are you doing? You get no points for that. And then they go out on the dance floor, and they do like 3 and break, and you're like, you've done all of the good stuff in the warm-up area. Like, you've literally wasted your energy.
Save that.
Like, get yourself warm, get yourself prepared, so that you're going to be able to go and perform well. But don't use up all your credits. Do you know what I mean? Like, save them for the workout. So warm-ups are massive on comp day. Nutrition's obviously massive, and then like the week of training before it as well. Like if you're going for a maximum like intensity at the weekend. Like, you don't need to be doing Murph on Thursday. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just don't.
Yeah.
Like, your body,
You're not gonna
no
get
matter how
anything from that
fit
at
you
all.
think you are,
Yeah.
your body probably can't recover from that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you still need to be training hard, but you need to be training smart.
Yeah.
And not just punching yourself in the face for the sake of punching yourself in the face.
One last thing before we shoot off is, so you've got 3 events today, 3 or 4 events, and you've warmed up, you've done the event. How do you then appropriately like cool down to then chill, to then get yourself ready to then go again? Like, is there anything that you would then do after an event? I know I do struggle with that. I'm like just hyped all day.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the key. So you've got to be super strict with warm-up time and with cool-down time. So the cool-down when you've got multiple events is just as important as the warm-up.
Right.
Probably more.
Right.
So I always jump off the dance floor, sign my sheet, handshake my judge, be nice to your judges.
Yeah.
And then come off, jump on the bike. I'll do like 10 minutes, just nice and easy, like just ticking over, just flushing my legs out, thinking about the workout, thinking, because there anything I could have done better. Not that it matters because you can't go back, but just a bit of feedback. And then I'll get off and I'll pretty much do the same as what I did in the warm-up in the cool-down. So I'll stretch off any particular areas of tightness.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably jump back on the bike and do another 5 minutes and just flush everything out. And then after that I'd go and eat, or I'd go and have me bottle of Coke or whatever.
Yeah, that
and
flat
then
Coke.
Yeah, that flat Coke and a couple of handfuls of sports
flat
mixture.
Coke?
It was one of my old coaches was like, it's the best energy drink you can have. It's the best stuff for recovery, flat Coke. So I've just taken him for his word.
That's good.
So
flat Coke, everyone.
Flat Coke, apparently that's the way to go.
Done.
Yeah.
Excellent.